My name is Lena. The cafe was a blur of noise and warmth, the clink of cups and the faint hum of jazz filling the air, the scent of roasted coffee beans wrapping around me like a memory. I'd barely taken 2 steps toward our usual table when Paul looked up from his untouched latte, his eyes cold. "We need to talk," he said, his voice flat, rehearsed, slicing through the chatter. My stomach dropped, my hands damp as I slid into the chair across from him. "What's wrong?" I forced a smile, my voice shaky. "The caterer?" He didn't answer, just reached into his jacket and pulled out a small velvet box. Not to offer it, but to take something back. The engagement ring, a delicate band I'd worn for months, glinted under the soft lights. "I can't marry you, Lena," he said, 7 words that carved through me like a blade. "What?" I whispered, the room spinning. He leaned back, his posture relaxed as if unburdening himself. "It's not you. We're heading different paths. I've made connections. Important ones. Sarah Bennett and I, we align." Sarah Bennett. The name hit like a punch. Daughter of Thomas Bennett, a real estate mogul whose influence stretched across the city. My heart raced, betrayal flooding in. "You're leaving me for her?" My voice cracked. He shook his head, though his eyes betrayed him. "It's better this way. You deserve someone simpler." He didn't flinch as I stared, stunned, the ring a symbol of a future slipping away. Then, as if to twist the knife, he added, "The ring's a family heirloom. My mom would want it back." My hands trembled as I slipped it off, placing it gently on the table. "Thank you for your honesty," I said, the words hollow, and stood walking past the glass doors, past a couple sharing pastries, past curious glances. Only when I turned onto Maple Street did the tears come, hot and silent, streaking down my face. I didn't go back to the apartment we'd shared, the space filled with half-packed boxes and my wedding dress hanging like a ghost. I couldn't face the silence, the echo of his voice. When I arrived, it was done. My things in labeled suitcases by the door. Clothes, books, toiletries sorted with a precision that wasn't his. His mother, no doubt, her control reaching even here. I sank to the floor beside the bags, the carpet rough under me, time slipping away. My old studio lease had ended months ago, given to a friend in need. Every cent I'd saved, $5,000, had gone to the wedding. I had $87 in my account and a week until my next nursing shift. Defeated, I did something I hadn't in years. I called Ruth, my foster mom. Ruth answered on the second ring, her voice warm, steady, a lifeline from my teenage years. "Lena, honey, where've you been? I was about to check on those flowers we picked last spring." I choked on a sob, unable to speak. That was enough. An hour later, I was curled on her faded plaid couch, a mug of chamomile tea in my hands, her fingers smoothing my hair like when I was 14, fresh from a failed foster home. Ruth didn't pry. She draped a thick quilt over me and said, "Stay as long as you need. You've got nothing to prove." That night, I lay on the pull-out bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, replaying Paul's words, his calmness, his ease. Had he ever loved me, or was I just a pause until Sarah came along? By dawn, the ache dulled into shame. I was 29, heartbroken, nearly homeless, humiliated, supposed to walk into a new life, a family, but back where I started. At noon, I showered, dressed in my scrubs, and returned to the hospital, the routine a mask. Nurses smiled, asking about wedding plans. I nodded, lied, postponed, "Paul's busy," because the truth would unravel me. Checking vitals in room 4, I knew I couldn't stay. Not in this town, not with Paul and Sarah toasting their future across the city, not with nowhere to go and nothing left to lose. 3 days passed, each a slow grind, smiling through questions, saying I was fine, the lies piling up. On the 3rd day, while adjusting in 4, Rachel, our no-nonsense charge nurse, peeked in. "Still looking for a way out of this dump?" she asked, her voice low. "What?" I blinked. She motioned me to the hall. "Remember Tara from oncology? Took a live-in nursing gig, high pay, quit last week. Couldn't handle the guy." At noon, I showered, dressed in my scrubs, and returned to the hospital, the routine a mask. Nurses smiled, asking about wedding plans. I nodded, lied, postponed, "Paul's busy," because the truth would unravel me. Checking vitals in room 4, I knew I couldn't stay. Not in this town, not with Paul and Sarah toasting their future across the city, not with nowhere to go and nothing left to lose. 3 days passed, each a slow grind, smiling through questions, saying I was fine, the lies piling up. On the third day, while adjusting in for Rachel, our no-nonsense charge nurse peeked in. "Still looking for a way out of this dump?" she asked, her voice low. "What?" I blinked. She motioned me to the hall. "Remember Tara from oncology? Took a live-in nursing gig, high pay, quit last week. Couldn't handle the guy." "What guy?" I asked, curious. Rachel raised an eyebrow. "Some rich tech guy, paralyzed. Lives up in Pine Ridge, one of those insane mansions. A nightmare, scares off staff in days. Pays triple, live-in meals, no night shifts, just one patient." I hesitated. "I'm not a caregiver." "You're a nurse with 6 years' experience," she shot back. "More qualified than most. You're stubborn. Might work." I almost laughed, my cracked spirit unsure, but the word escape echoed. "Got a contact?" 10 minutes later, she handed me a card. Ruth Ellis, estate manager, with a number. At midnight, I stood in Ruth's backyard, the cold air biting, phone shaking. Ruth picked up on the first ring. "Yes, this is Lena Hart. I heard about a live-in nurse position. Pause. Available for an interview tomorrow, 9 o'clock? Yes, I can be there. Bring credentials. Address incoming. Don't be late." The line went dead. At 5 a.m., I boarded a bus to San Francisco, then a shuttle up Pine Ridge's winding roads, the world blurring into a dream I hadn't earned. The house loomed, a modern fortress of glass and stone, carved into the hillside, its black gates swinging open. Ruth met me, a wiry woman in her 60s, suit impeccable, her gaze piercing. "You're early," she said. "Didn't want to be late." "Good. Follow me." The interview was brisk, resume scan for questions, no smile. Then, "The job's yours, Miss Hart. Round the clock, 2 days off monthly, no visitors. Medical skills crucial, discretion absolute. Your patient's complex. Suite on the second floor, meals and lodging included. $13,000 monthly, plus bonuses." I gripped the chair, stifling a laugh. Triple my hospital pay. With a duffel and a broken heart, I said yes, signing the contract without hesitation. Ruth slid a folder across. "Review it. Patient's Noah Reed." The name meant nothing then. The next morning, I stood outside his door, folder in hand, heart pounding. The hall was silent, carpet swallowing steps, the house polished and cold, stone floors, sleek lines. Ruth beside me, clipboard tight. "Sure you want this?" she asked, not looking. I signed up. "That's not what I asked." I swallowed. "Yes." She knocked, opened the door. The room was vast. Vaulted ceilings, glass walls overlooking pines, sunlight flooding pale wood. A throne room for a ghost. Noah was by the window, back to us, in a black wheelchair, fingers tapping the armrest. "Mr. Reed, your nurse is here, Lena Hart," Ruth said crisply. He turned slowly and I caught my breath. Young, mid-30s, tall, even-seated, dark hair, sharp jaw, eyes like steel. Exhausted, pale, but his stare warned me. "Another one," he muttered, voice low, biting. "What's the bet this time, Ruth?" "A week." I opened my mouth, but he cut me off. "What job do you think you're here for?" "Medication, therapy, vitals, rehab support." He snorted. "Forgot the part where you nod while I fail to walk. Everyone's favorite." I didn't flinch. "I'm not here to pity you." He tilted his head. "New. Most crack by day 3. Maybe I'll surprise you." "Maybe," he smirked, unconvinced. We moved through the day in tense silence. Meds, therapy notes, his barbs testing me. I'd handled worse. Wounded vets, screaming teens, weeping mothers. Noah wouldn't break me. That night, prepping his room, he said, "You're not what I expected." I looked up. "You haven't asked about the accident. Tell me if you want." Pause. "Ski trip. Solo. Lost control. Woke in a chopper. Haven't stood since. Thanks for sharing." He studied me. "Why this job?" "Because I needed it." "Not the money." "Why this?" "Because I've been discarded, lied to." His expression shifted, a crack in his armor, then he turned. "Don't get attached. No gratitude, no friendship." "Good. No illusions," I replied. He didn't dismiss me. The mansion felt vast that first week, the creak of its wooden floors blending with the rustle of pine trees outside, a quiet rhythm to my new life. "My name is Lena." Noah Reed's wheelchair rolled past me in the hall, his silence a wall, but his eyes, sharp, assessing, told me he was watching. I'd taken this job to escape, to rebuild after Paul's betrayal, but now, standing in this cold, polished space, I sensed something deeper. You took my future, but it led back to me, I whispered to myself, the words of vow as I adjusted his medication schedule. The road Paul chose with Sarah had circled back, and I was ready to forge my own path, even if it meant unraveling secrets in this house. The days settled into a routine, tense but structured. I administered meds at dawn, the clink of pill bottles a steady beat, monitored his vitals with a stethoscope cold against his skin, and guided him through physical therapy, his muscles straining against the bars. Noah's barbs persisted. You'll quit like the rest, he'd mutter, but I didn't bite. I'd worked with broken soldiers, screaming kids, mothers in pain. His tests were familiar ground. Ruth, the estate manager, checked in daily, her clipboard a shield, her questions probing. He's difficult. You holding up? I nodded, my resolve firm. The suite they gave me, second floor adjacent to his, was sparse but mine. A small desk by the window where I sketched old designs, the pine scent drifting in. One night, insomnia drove me to the kitchen, the clock ticking past 1 a.m. I brewed tea, the steam a comfort, when a shadow moved, Noah in the dim light rolling toward the gym. Curiosity tugged and I followed, peering through the cracked door. He gripped parallel bars, legs trembling, sweat beading on his brow, taking slow, determined steps. My breath caught, he was hiding progress. The door creaked and he spun, rage flashing. What the hell are you doing? I heard something. Get out, Lena. I didn't move, my chest tightening. Why hide this? I asked softly. His knuckles whitened. People see progress, they expect miracles. I've watched them walk away when I don't deliver. So you pretend you've given up? His jaw tightened. You don't get it. I stepped closer, cautious. Maybe I do. I've been thrown away too. His eyes locked on mine, furious, uncertain. I won't tell anyone, I said. But let me help, really help. Why? Because I know isolation. He sank back into the chair, exhausted. Fine. We keep it secret. You follow my lead, stop when I say, help when I say. Agreed. His smirk faded. You're not like the others. I shrugged. I'm not trying to be. We started sessions at dawn, the house still, sunlight creeping through the blinds. Each step was agony, his arms braced, legs shaky, but he pushed and I supported, silent, steady. One morning, reviewing his chart, I noticed irregularities, missed doses, altered records. Suspicion grew, and that afternoon a visitor arrived. Mark, Noah's business partner, a slick man in a gray suit, his smile too wide. Lena Hart. The new nurse, he said, eyeing me. I nodded, serving tea, staying invisible. Their talk turned to business. Mergers, investments, and then, Bennett Realty's ready to push funds. We just need Noah's signature on the transfer. My blood froze. Bennett. Sarah's family. Noah stayed silent, his grip tight on the armrest. Mark pressed. We've prepped the shell company. Sign soon or the deal closes. Noah muttered. I'll review it. My pulse thundered. Paul's betrayal tied to this? That night, during therapy, I broke the silence. I overheard Mark. About Bennett Realty. He didn't look up. Go on. I detailed it, names, phrases, tone, then added, Paul left me for Sarah Bennett. Too much coincidence. He paused, pivoting to face me. You think Mark and Paul are in on this? I nodded. Possibly. He stared, then said, I'll check the documents. I hoped for more belief action, but his silence swallowed my words. Pacing my room later, doubt crept in. Was I wrong? Imagining shadows? Or right and alone? The next day Noah knocked. Unprecedented. He held a folder. You were right. Bennett Realty isn't investing, they're taking over. The transfer hides a shell company Mark set up months ago. My breath caught. Help me stop them. Are you sure? If they think I'm weak, they've forgotten who I was. We planned nightly, the study's oak table our war room, documents spread wide. His hands trembled, but his voice stayed firm, rebuilding strategy piece by piece. He'd contacted his lawyer, gathering evidence. Emails, contracts, bank trails. I trusted Mark, he said one night, since my first pitch. I touched his shoulder. Trust your gut now. He nodded. I was late, but not again. A week later, a board meeting was called. Noah let Mark think the signature was coming, even thanking him via email. That afternoon he suited up, midnight blue, crisp, his first time since the accident. He practiced walking with a cane, 10 steps, then 15, gritting his teeth. "I want them to see," he said. I supported, silent, steady. The meeting day arrived, a glass and chrome building, heads turning as we entered. Noah walked, cane firm, steps measured. Shock rippled. Mark at the head, Sarah beside him, Paul next to her, smaller, smug but faded. Noah reached the head, pausing. "This meeting's under my authority," he said calmly, opening the folder. He laid out the evidence, forged trails, backdoor clauses, proving Mark's breach. Sarah didn't flinch. "You can't prove intent," Mark muttered. "I don't need to, fiduciary duty's enough," Noah replied. The board stirred, counsel standing. "Mr. Reed, a no-confidence vote?" "Yes, immediate." Chaos erupted. Sarah rose, heels sharp. "You don't know who you're crossing." "I do, a name hiding weakness," Noah said. She scoffed. Paul looked away. The vote was unanimous. Mark was out, contracts nullified, control reverted. Alone after, Noah leaned on his cane, breathing hard, eyes shining. "You did it," I whispered. "We did," he said, smiling wide, real. Weeks passed, the mansion warming, windows open, garden blooming. Noah walked half a mile, bitterness lifting. I stopped mourning the wedding, reading again, running trails, laughing without guilt. He cooked weekly, burning rice, cursing the stove. I smiled, our ritual. One night he handed me a dish. "If this kills you, it's on record." I grinned. "You'd leave me the company." He paused. "No. I put it in a trust, with you." "What?" "Not giving you the company, but you're part of what's next." He pulled out a box, a simple gold ring with a sapphire. "No rush. I'm learning to be whole again. Will you consider this road with me, not to save me, but because with you I remember myself?" I slid it on. "Not yes. Not no." He laughed. "We didn't rush. Progress, my practice, a shared home." Paul texted once, "Am I okay?" I didn't reply. The road led back and I'd built something better. The mansion felt alive that morning, sunlight streaming through the open windows, the scent of pine and freshly turned garden soil drifting in as I stood by the study table. "My name is Lena." Noah Reed leaned on his cane, the folder of victory documents spread before us, his breath steady but triumphant. The board meeting had shifted everything. Mark ousted, Sarah's plan crumbled, Paul's smugness shattered, and now the silence held a new weight. "You took my future, but it led back to me," I whispered, the words a mantra echoing the road that had circled back, bringing me to this moment of power and healing. The trust Noah offered, the ring on my finger, the life we were building. It was a bridge from the cafe's betrayal to this reclaimed strength. The aftermath was swift. That afternoon Ruth knocked, her clipboard absent for once, her face soft. "You did well, Lena." "Noah's different, lighter." I nodded, the praise a quiet balm. Later Paul called, his voice strained. "Lena, what happened?" "Sarah's furious, Mark's out." I stayed silent, the line humming, my heart steady. "You chose this path," I said, hanging up. The news spread, hospital whispers, city buzz. My name tied to Noah's recovery, our triumph. Rachel texted, "Heard you rocked it." Proud. I smiled, the support a shield. Noah and I reviewed the trust papers, his lawyer confirming control reverted, the shell company dismantled. "We did this," he said, his voice firm, a partnership forged in struggle. The tension lingered with Sarah. She arrived unannounced, her heels clicking on the stone floor, her suit of armor. "This isn't over, Lena," she snapped, eyes blazing. "You think you've won?" I met her gaze, calm. "I built this win. You and Paul underestimated me." She scoffed, storming out, but her influence waned. Bennett Realty's stock dipped, rumors swirling. Noah squeezed my hand, a silent strength. That night we walked the garden, the blooms a testament to our effort, whispering, the road led back. The next day a letter came, Paul's handwriting shaky. "Lena, I was wrong. Sarah's not what I thought. Can we talk?" I held it, tears stinging but unfallen, tucking it away, the past a lesson, not a chain. The challenge grew from Mark's allies, a tech network pushing back, alleging fraud in Noah's recovery. We stood firm, gathering evidence, therapy logs, medical records, presenting it at a public forum. The room was packed, tension thick. Noah's progress is real, I said, my voice clear, displaying data. The crowd nodded, the network's claims faltering, their retreat a victory. Noah walked unaided for 10 steps, the applause deafening. That night on the balcony, the city lights a constellation, he said, "You gave me this." "We gave each other," I replied, the ring a quiet promise. Weeks passed, the mansion a home. Windows open, staff warm, garden thriving. Noah cooked burning pasta, his laughter mine to share. I launched a nursing outreach, Lena's Care, funding local clinics, my signature on grants a mission. One patient, Mrs. Chen, thanked me, her frail hands trembling. "You saved us," she said. I framed her note, a tribute. Noah walked a mile, his limp fading, our bond deepening. Paul visited, his coat worn, eyes remorseful. "I'm sorry, Lena. Sarah's gone." I nodded, offering a volunteer role. "Help others," I said. He accepted, a tentative step. Ruth hugged me, her tears amending. My brother Tom called, humbled. "You're amazing, Len." We talked, a bridge forming. Mrs. Chen's story inspired events, her recovery shared. I stood at the window, the garden my legacy, the system ours. One evening, sorting files, I found Paul's letter, a mirror to my growth. I kept it unframed, a reminder. The network faded, Mark's exit confirmed, our stand unassailable. We took a coastal trip, Noah walking beside me, sand clinging, wind sharp. "Think we'll return to who we were?" he asked. "I hope not," I said. "Who we became is better." He took my hand and we didn't let go. The road had led back, a structure of hope from the future they stole. As the sun set over the coast, I felt strength rise from past pain, a triumph with Noah. If this story moved you, subscribe to Revenge Tempest, and comment where you're watching from.